I noticed that you've been with Patients Like Me for almost 10 years. I believe
I'm
your
sure that's true.
yeah, your anniversary, I think, is coming up in next month or the month after.
I had no idea really when I started. So I think I was on the team of advisors in like 2016, 17, something like that. But I'd been on the site for maybe 4 or 5 years before that. I first had symptoms of MS in 1962 when I was 13. It was misdiagnosed, and I didn't get an accurate diagnosis, nor was I even clear that there was anything substantively wrong until 1987. So um, I had, in those intervening years, I had multiple symptoms, but they were transient. Uh, they didn't, I mean, the longest that any of them lasted was that first episode, which lasted for 2 weeks. And more often they were just very, very brief. And I never even connected them because they were all so different. They were all different parts of my body. Yeah, I mean, what led to the diagnosis was I woke up one morning and I had no control of anything on the right side of my face. And they did tests. My GP at the time thought it was Bell's palsy. But during the week that it took to wait for results of the tests, I lost, oh Lord, that was terrible. I mean, I lost all vision in my right eye, all sensation from the waist down. I had like shooting pain, shooting cold and hot flashes going up and down both arms. It was weird. Well, it was emotionally quite difficult. My ex-wife, she was the woman I was married to then, thought it was the end of our lives, that there was nothing to hope for. So that was an extra burden. My son at the time was 5 years old, so that was a burden. Like I not knowing what, if anything, I was going to be able to do to keep them supported. Um, and the neurologist who gave me the diagnosis, although he was technically accurate, it turns out, was um, so concerned about protecting himself from the emotional pain of this that he was just cold almost to the point of hostility. So it was tough. So I mean, my MO is something happens and I need to learn about it. So the very first thing I did was call I live in the DC area, so I called the national office of the MS Association. I found out about self-help groups, or sort of support groups that they had. So I went to one of these groups. Everybody in the group was, all they wanted to do really was complain about how healthy people didn't understand them, were mistreating them, were prejudging them. And listening to it, I thought, well, as bizarre as I feel right now, I'm still capable of doing anything. I just have to stride past these bizarre symptoms. Well, I didn't start out thinking, oh, this is going to be much better. I honestly, I don't remember how I learned about Patients Like Me. What I saw, I mean, this is way back when, but my first impression was, okay, there's a significant quotient of people who are, just as you were saying, woe is me. There, a lot of those people are coming up, they are recently diagnosed. So they're going through the emotional turmoil and the unknowns of all of that. And I've seen many people, I mean, I've known countless people who have MS at this point. And the biggest risk to one's quality of life is going crazy about it and making it worse than it ever, you really have to look at, what am I able to do now? And not what can't I do? If all you're doing is sort of catastrophizing where you are, you can ruin your life without the illness. And if you want to live the richest life possible, you gotta somehow keep grounded to what's real. The sort of the life history of PLM was very exciting to me. You know, the three brothers and the other two trying to help their brother with ALS. I mean, this was a really good idea that started out with, real optimism and assurance that something better was possible. I mean, I found it really admirable, and it certainly got me to stand, sit up and pay attention. It was meaningful to me to offer a note of calm, and I think of it as curiosity about MS to people who were suffering through the first thing of it. But I also ran into, I can't remember specific individuals, but there are many people with MS and other conditions on Patients Like Me who they have their own individual version of the attitude that I'm trying to bring to it. And so you get to know not just the illness and the struggles with the illness, but people, so I developed some friendships, and with only the exceptions of people who are on the team of advisors with me, those friendships have never been real world friendships. They've just been online friendships, but some of them have been pretty deep. So that's always encouraging and heartening. Did you ever play in a swimming pool a game called Marco Polo? It's a little bit like that. There's a lot of people who are just every day, including myself, saying, here's what's going on with me, Marco, and somebody else is responding, Polo. So there's a familiarity and a comfort that there's this group of people who I've never met, probably will never meet, and vice versa, who nonetheless know quite a bit about each other. And even if it's just a like or a support symbol, or if it's something more substantial, doesn't matter. It's like a comforting routine. And it definitely reminds me, that lots of people face these sorts of challenges. It's not unique, and it's not awful. Everybody on the site, including everybody who's not on the site, is living a life, and some of them are living a very rich life. Some of them are really struggling, but everybody's going on, and there's a significant number of people. So I mean, when I deal with healthy people, like my wife, or almost everybody in my life, they may have a response to the way I'm handling my illness, but fundamentally, there is a difference if somebody is actually going through it themselves, going on that journey alongside them, riding shotgun with them, and they with you. There's some things that just don't need to be explained, and that's an easing of the burden. So I mean, I think one of the things that I really like about it is the explicit notion that it's not just about cures, which may be decades away, if they're even possible, but how to live with a higher quality of life.
Yep.
That's a really, you don't hear that anywhere else.
I want to thank you for sharing your health journey up to this point and how Patients Like Me fits into your life.
No problem.
Um,
This is actually
well,
energizing. So
oh, that's
have
so
at it.
great. It is for me too.